Hi Cheryl.
Hi Gary.
Tell us something about how you started off getting involved in the mental health system.
I began to receive what I believe are messages from my dead brother. I visited my mother's home and gave to her a message from Ray, one of love and reassurance. So she rang a doctor to give me a Valium injection. They had me incarcerated in the Footscray Psychiatric Hospital that night. When we're first incarcerated, the medication is quite horrific. It's in large doses and it completely disables you.
Hello, I'm Gary Hipworth, business consultant. Let's cut to the chase. What are your problems? That's what I'm interested in. Those early years were interesting times. That's my mum there, that's Lorraine, that's my father Len. The very first memory I have is lying in bed at night, listening to my mother getting bashed. That'll teach you to do as you're told. And Lorraine, you fucking shut up. Basically, he was the man in the house. Out of those early days, I got this intense hatred of my father and I wanted to kill him. This is me, my sister Cheryl and Ray. Ray was the first to have his life snuffed out. He was murdered by a friend of his, a knife through his chest, just once, that was it. My immediate reaction was, oh my God, I've got to get to my mother. I said, Mum, I've got to tell you something horrific. You better sit down. Ray's been killed. And she said those words, she said, not Ray. Why couldn't it be me? My mother's reaction was just absolutely, she was shattered. She was on a lot of medication and then suddenly the doctors said no more medication. You're getting too much. Anyway, I get this call one night and she said to me, how are things? Yeah, we had just the normal chit chat. And then when she was signing off, she said, I love you. And that, I went to her front door and I'm smelling gas. She just, she'd had enough and stuck her head in the oven, and that's how the police found her. My sister, she was starting to hallucinate around having voices heard with Ray, telling her that everything was okay. Please tell Mum that I'm all right. Mum got alarmed and called in the mental health people and said, look, I think Cheryl needs some help. Right up the spectrum, eventually she was labelled as a schizophrenic. Through hearing voices from God to save humanity by blinding herself, plucking out her eyes with a pair of scissors. If she had the guts to do that, then he would save humanity and he would then give her sight back. She did manage to blind herself and she lingered in hospital for 6 months with an infection to the brain, and that's how she died. I'd moved away from Braybrook by that time. I wanted to get as far away from Braybrook as I possibly could. My thing is to get to the bottom of what is causing all this mayhem in the world. This map is symbolic of the fact that our cultural programming is a wonderful thing. It makes us who we are, human beings. However, there's a downside. There's something dark and sinister that we don't talk about, and that's the black thing here. It's deep death denial. And as we go through life, we start to deny and repress the fact that we're going to die. When my brother got killed, reality crashed into my existence and said, you're not immortal, Gary. You are mortal just like your brother. Hang on, I don't know how to handle this. My culture, you see, is supposed to protect me from even asking those questions. But that's the way the system has been set up. If I don't want to be out on the street as a homeless person, then I do have to use the system, if you like, the machine, work the machine to survive. We've invented some pretty strange ideas about who we are, but that's brought with it all this mental illness. With regards to what was happening with my sister, I started writing these letters to various people, including her psychiatrist, asking for information on the science. Doctors are responsible for choosing the most appropriate medication for their patients. All prescription medicines have a comprehensive product information document which helps guide doctors on how best to use that medicine. We're selling them, but it's the doctor, the treating doctor, that's got the final authority here. We just make the drugs. That is just no duty of care there. So that makes me sick in the guts. Over the years, you've had different doctors treating you and very much forced into taking certain medication.
I was never told about the side effects. I just experienced them. The medication gives you a voracious appetite and you eat everything in sight. It affects the heart, the lungs. It feels like you're in a straitjacket.
So your quality of life is pretty well zilch.
It's worse than that. It's something you're always hoping you're going to work your way out of it, but you know that if it remains the way it is, that you'd rather not be around at all.
Did your doctors ever give you any other form of treatment or hope that in fact there will come a day when you're off the medication?
Never. No, they were only too ready to tell me that I was schizophrenic and that I'd be on medication for life. One psychiatrist told me that I was lucky because if it had been 100 years ago, somebody like myself would be in chains underground. Her life consisted of just lying in bed, maybe getting someone to do the shopping for her, watching a bit of television, not much interaction with her daughters, who really weren't too interested in being around their mother when she was in that state. They give up hope. It's a tough gig being a human. And if we accept that and don't look for permanent happiness, don't look for permanent anything, things will change. Not facing up to the reality of your current situation that's caused you to feel somewhat down about your life. Work your way through that without running away from facing up to the reality of that challenge. It's not reality to go and block it out with drugs of various kinds. That's a false reality, and that has a price. You pay a huge price for that. The key faculty that I've discovered is awareness in the moment, which is here right now. Most people are just walking past. Yeah. Oh, they're just doing a job, you know. When there's a real creative thing going on here. Brilliant. Well done, guys. I've discovered that it's the memory process in us that causes all the problems. And the memory process is telling a story all the time, and it's linked to the past. And it's trying to imagine a better future. But is it happy with right now? Are we happy with being alive for its own sake? There's a paraglider up there in the sky. In fact, there's 4 of them. Now, I didn't even know they were there until I woke up to the fact that, hey, this is really where it's all happening, and it's free. Then you become intimately connected with your environment in a way that you can't do with your thinking process. We're at the clinic where my sister would come and be treated for her so-called mental illness. And I'm here today to confront her doctor, and he refused to give me any satisfactory answers to why she was being injected against her will. And I'm here to follow him up and see what he's got to say. We got the corporate protocol there with the rules and the procedures, and
Yes, we'll talk to you one day when you go through all these processes. We're getting closer to people admitting they don't have a clue what they're doing, and that is progress. People like me who've lost family members tragically, we don't give up. Is Dr. there, please?
He's with a patient. Can I take a message?
I have been trying to organise a meeting with him in the last week, and we haven't heard back from him.
No worries, I'll pass on the message.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Hello, Gary speaking.
What just happened?
What he's really saying is I don't have the guts to meet you face to face. Basically, he knows there's nothing solid about psychiatry, and this is what's been going on for years now, passing the buck from one to the other. It's not just the psychiatrists, it's the government and the Mental Health Act. It's the drug companies, global drug companies making billions of dollars out of people's mental problems. It's a growth industry, for God's sake. It's the best business model I've ever come across. But it's corrupt at its core, and it's killing people.
Why are they giving him electric shocks?
Because they can. This is the best they can do to treat a guy who's got anxiety problems. And the more they shock him and the more they give him antipsychotic medication, the worse he gets. Garth's dad has got medical power of attorney. Now that should mean that he has a say in his son's treatment. And if he says on behalf of the family and on behalf of Garth, we don't want him shocked, that should be it.
We got an independent psychiatrist, Jock McLaren, down from Brisbane. He did an assessment on Garth and he said, you haven't got schizophrenia. These so-called experts at Box Hill Hospital have been treating him for something he hasn't had for 20 years. Doped him to the eyeballs on every drug known to man, electroshocked. It is an absolute utter disgrace.
I was always very interested in psychotherapy. As soon as I graduated in psychiatry, I wanted to sit down and work out what is the scientific basis for a psychotherapy. It takes you in areas that conventional psychiatry doesn't like. The most complex area of all, of course, is what is the nature of mind, and then secondarily, what is the nature of mental disorder. And orthodox psychiatry doesn't want anybody to look into that. Mainstream views or the orthodox views are open to criticism. They must be challenged because from that constant process of challenge comes scientific progress. Without criticism, there is no scientific progress. According to the psychiatrist, he had to have that ECT. It could not be missed out for even as long as 6 hours. He has not had ECT in 30 days now, and he's being seen twice a week for a form of psychotherapy. He's really just showing everybody that he can in fact function. Humans are very, very complex creatures, and it takes a lot of effort to find out what's been going on in a person to bring him to this position at this stage of his life.
We're allowed to have mood swings, for God's sake, without being called mentally ill. And we're allowed to get depressed. We should be allowed to get depressed for days on end if necessary, if we're having a bad stretch. Things will change eventually. We're actually going to go and talk to people in the CBD somewhere and find out where the sanity is and where it isn't, where the harmony is, where the inner peace is. It's not an artificial harmony. It's a natural harmony that comes with being in sync with life, with nature, with each other, and recognising our humanity comes first, not our religion, not our nationalism, It's who we are as human beings. That's what defines us the most. Hello. How you doing?
Not bad.
Hey guys.
How's it going?
Having a good day?
Yeah.
Good.
What's your name?
Michael.
Michael, I'm Gary.
Nice to meet you.
Pleased to meet you. If I said to you, Michael, could you come out here and we'll celebrate life, no matter what's happening here with your money or sales, would you be in that? Come on.
What are we doing?
Well, I'll show you what we're doing. I'm going to give you a hug.
Oh, okay.
Good on you. Fantastic.
I'm the wizard.
The wizard. Yep. And I'm Gary.
And Gary, you have done?
I'm not interested in where I've been. I'm interested in what's happening right now with you.
Right now?
I've never met a wizard before. Are you loving your life, Mr. Wizard?
Absolutely.
Why is that?
Because you know what? It's no use being miserable, because if you don't like doing what you're doing, get out.
Wow.
And if you're unhappy, right, then do something about it, right? Simple. And if I'm miserable, no one listens to me anyway, so I may as well be happy. That's why I wear a smile, even if this one's missing.
Can you celebrate life with me?
You little beauty!
You love life?
Oh yes, yes.
It's just that it's raining at the moment, and basically
It makes it unpleasant for most people, and I'd like to get to the root cause of today's rain.
Yeah. And if you could do that, that'd be fantastic.
Well, you'd probably ask for it to stop raining.
What's your name?
My name's Harry.
Harry, I'm Gary. How are you feeling about the world that you're living in right now?
I don't like it. It's divorced from nature, and we lead these lives that are so artificial. You need to have a balance between the hum of a living and breathing city and also the solitude of nature.
What is it that makes you feel really, really great to be alive for its own sake? Is there anything, or do you need a reason to feel good?
I don't think you need a reason to feel good. I think just being alive, walking every day, I've got my friend next to me.
Yeah. And how would you express that inner happiness? Like, I'll give you an example, right? Yeah. How I'm feeling. You little beauty! I'm alive! You little beauty! We're alive, we're all alive. Isn't that a miracle in itself? You don't need to make money at the Bank of China. You're alive.
You little beauty!
Oh, little beauty!
You little beauty!
With all that violence in my background, I should be probably a violent criminal. In fact, I've gone the opposite way. My two daughters, Trudy and Marnie, they have great families of their own now. I've married to Joanne, and that's provided incredible stability and love in my life, and provided my first real friend, I have to say, someone who was going to stick by me no matter what. The basic change in me is that I now understand why all this is going on and has gone on, all this violence, searching for the truth. This is too important to actually give up on. Wonderful. Cleansing. Nature. I love to get out here about once every week and experience this amazing solitude, quiet, peace, and harmony. Harmony that seems to just embrace all aspects of the living world. It's a meditation out in the middle of nature, and it just seems to me to be the most natural thing that any one of us could experience. You little beauty! Nature, I love you. You've restored my faith in humanity through your awareness, through your unconditional love. This is what it's all about.